What's going on, people? I'm here again, man, Mr. B, and today I want to take on this issue of a decision made by the People's National Party to announce its candidate in the upcoming general elections of 2025. Of course, general elections is due to by September of 2025, and so the PNP has announced as its candidate in the Portland East constituency to run against the sitting JLP MP Anne Marie or Action Anne Vaz. That person was Isat Buchanan. Now, the of course the decision has raised a whole of criticism by the the Jamaica Labour Party specifically, and the Jamaicans who are seeing this as sending a not so positive signal to Jamaica in general and the Jamaican population. And the question you should ask is why. Now, first of all, let's get some stuff behind us. Isat Buchanan is an attorney at law. I think his legal specialty is what is it? Human rights law, where he has been largely identified as the major figure in the subsequent release of dancehall DJ phenomena, Vibes Cartel. You will remember Vibes Cartel had been serving a life sentence for murder, and Buchanan's foray into this case, and as far as Vibes Cartel's appeal is concerned, subsequently led to the case being taken to the United Kingdom Privy Council, which literally overturned the findings of the Jamaican courts, and the case came back to Jamaica, and for the Jamaican Appeals Court to make a decision, and they basically decided not to retry the case, subsequently resulting in Cartel being a free man. In addition, Vibes Cartel, Buchanan is also the son of Big Youth, and we, as a man who grew up with the music, Big Youth is one of my favorite artists, even in this stage of his life. I think. But why I mention Big Youth is because Buchanan has had his own history, and Big Youth's support of his son Buchanan is what I certainly, as would do for my own son if him get himself in a trouble. Why am I saying this? In 1997, young Isat Buchanan was held at the airport and on a charge of attempting to export cocaine. I watched a program with him on YouTube last night, where he was, well, two tapes actually, where he was explaining his circumstances. Whatever his explanation is, the fact is that he was convicted, and 3 years later he was held in the United States on a similar charge, and where he served some 10 years for exporting cocaine. Now, it is against this background that the criticisms of the PNP's decision is being measured. That here is a man who is a convict, and that the party, though what the message the PNP is sending to the public in general, right? And of course, depending on which side of the table you're sitting, there are some issues that are worthy of consideration. On the one hand, in my opinion, what Buchanan did is, in terms of his two convictions, he has served his time. You know, the question that one would ask is, did he learn anything from it? He did 10 years, almost 10 years of his life in a U.S. prison, and I think it is fair to say that during the course of his incarceration, he may have found his footing. He subsequently became an attorney at law, and from all indications, he has been a damn good attorney at that. So, from that perspective, Buchanan's story of reform, could be seen as an encouraging example of personal transformation. And, politically, this could resonate well with voters who believe in the whole principle of second chance and personal redemption. It also um, could send a signal that maybe by making this selection, the leadership of the People's National Party is looking at providing a candidate slate that reflects, the backgrounds of the full spectrum of the Jamaican society, including those who deserve a second chance and potentially attracting support from, constituents who can identify with the struggles that Buchanan has been through. Now, the fact though is that as a country, Jamaica has its fair share of challenges, right? Um, now, again, Buchanan is not the first person who is entering politics who have had issues, but at the same time, you cannot ignore the fact that Buchanan, having found his footing, if you would say, was in trouble with the PNP just about a year ago for some remarks he made against the director of public prosecutions, female director of public prosecutions, on a television program. And I think there was also a YouTube video with him repeating some of the same um, comments, which was kind of very, very derogatory, if you ask me. Um, and as a consequence of which, he was asked to well, he stepped down as the PNP's spokesman on human rights and the head of the PNP's human rights um, council. Um, so this his own demonstration of insensitivity, if you will, led to him being withdrawn by the party, and so it begged the question of, is there a chance that the reform that he has demonstrated is not in its totality. The fact is that as human beings, we are all subject to error. Show me somebody whose life is completely spotless, and I would show you. And even because not even Jesus Christ did have a spotless thing. He is noted, according to the stories, to go in at the temple and turn over the table and run, cause up a whole heap of bother and throw people out of the place and thing. So none of us are spotless. But that notwithstanding, his elevation to the status of candidate for the party does present some, open some doors for some questions, because again, we in Jamaica are faced with a dilemma. We have some major issues in the country, as far as the issues of the criminality, issues of levels of influence, from people in the society whose backgrounds are questionable. We have the corruption issues. We have a whole slate of politicians right now who is, you know, in front of the cameras with respect to questionable um, behaviors, illicit enrichment questions, all of which are being ducked and being, you know, hidden, if you will, by a media that is, you I have asked the question, what are they focusing their attentions on? And so it throw up the issue, especially if you're on the JLP side of the discussion, as to whether or not this whole business of the the Buchanan and his candidacy, if it's a red herring, is it a finger pointing exercise against the PNP when the JLP themselves has had their own um, fair share of troubles. Now, keep in mind that the JLP is not, you know, without its own blemishes. Okay. Keep in mind that former House Speaker Marissa Dalrymple Philibert resigned from as Member of Parliament for the Trelawney Southern constituency more than a year ago. But she is still in charge of that constituency, right? She was charged in 2023 for false declarations made on her statutory declaration to the Integrity Commission, and that whole matter is still yet to be resolved. Then there is the instance of I think it was the late Clive Lewis, who was elected 3 times after he himself was convicted of of criminal charges in the 1990s. So pointing fingers at the Buchanan selection is literally four, 3 or 4 of your own fingers, the JLP's fingers, pointing back at itself. Because again, the PNP may be trying to suggest to the people of Jamaica that it acknowledges that individuals can be rehabilitated and be returned to serve their communities, right? In my own view, I personally believe that um, a person's past doesn't necessarily define them, but again, you can use those experiences as a sort of a template to show just how much, having gone through the fire, what you have learned. Because guess what? We have a society where 3 million, or just about 3 million Jamaicans. And so if we are to write off everybody, right? What are we saying about people who really have these particular talents, and you can be of value to their community locally and at the whole national level? But at the same time, it also begs the question, um, is this the right message that the PNP wants to send? Remember, the whole business of drugs and drug conviction, those are hard convictions. That Buchanan has come back. In fact, there's a story that he was, not only did he um, did he make his way back from all of that, he was also appointed as Justice of the Peace. I think this was in 2019. Of course, when the story of his drug conviction came to the fore, the Minister of Justice, I understand, I think it was Delroy Truck, they were basically they well, he did not but he wasn't able to take up his appointment as a Justice of the Peace, because again, that negative came back at him. But that was his swearing in was subsequently done a couple of months afterwards. So he's also a Justice of the Peace. Here is a man who have run afoul of the system, um, basically redeemed himself. You do it once, you do it twice, and has he learned? Well, I would say that having served almost 10 years of his life in a foreign prison, come back to Jamaica, go to school, become an attorney at law, and one who has had the distinction of having gone to taken a criminal case all the way to the UK Privy Council that resulted in a successful outcome. It's very difficult to say that this person has not turned the corner. Again, you know, this is an issue that depends on which side of the table you sit. I would love to get a feedback from you people out there as to what are your own thoughts of this. Do you believe that that um, Buchanan has transformed? Is this the right decision made by a major political party to engage somebody who has had a criminal past? And what is the messaging that it is actually sending to the people of Jamaica as a whole? At the same time, is it hypocrisy on the part of the Jamaica Labour Party in respect of their own position on this issue? I am going to leave you to give me your feedback in respect of this. Um, it's a very tricky situation given the position we find ourselves in as a country, and the question of rehabilitation and redemption. These are the questions that it speaks to. Let me read your feedback in the comment section on this video, and at the same time, if you like the video, hit the like button, and if you haven't done so yet, subscribe to the channel. I will also invite you to check out our programs on our channel at the website www.yardmedia.com. You can just click on the description, the link in the description of this video, and check out our website. Until then, more time.